Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our daily word. Today's Friday, May 28th of the year 2021. It's Memorial Day weekend. This is the weekend we remember those who served and who didn't make it home. And we honor and remember their sacrifice that they made for us. And so I hope that wherever you do this weekend, that you'll be safe and you'll be reminded of the lives that were given for all of us as we live our lives. It's a rainy morning this morning. I don't always share many personal things necessarily, prayer requests, so to speak, but I do have one prayer request to share with you all this morning. We've been praying for weeks at church for my brother in law um, who has colon cancer. Um, my sister, his wife, died. It'll be 10 years in September. Well, Bob is reaching the end of his journey um, here on Earth. And so, excuse me, but ask for prayers for him and for his only child, Rachel, and for all of us who love him. I'll be going there in a bit to see him and spend some time with him today as he makes his final journey. So, I've chosen again for this morning from the book of Ecclesiastes. It seems to be so fitting in all of our lives and how we're living. It seems to be fitting that we hear these words. So from Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verses 7 through 10. So there is this idea, most commonly known among scholars, that the author of Ecclesiastes is unknown. We're not sure who that is. Many of the writings of Ecclesiastes point to David, and other of the writings of Ecclesiastes point to Solomon. So we're not sure, but there is much to be gleaned from the book of Ecclesiastes and how we're called to live our lives. So, Ecclesiastes 9, verses 7 through 10. Go, eat your bread with enjoyment, and drink your wine with a merry heart. For God alone, long ago, has approved what you do. Let your garments always be white. Do not let oil be lacking on your head. Enjoy life with the wife whom you love, all the days of your vain life that are given you under the sun, because that is your portion in life, and in your toil, at which your toil under the sun. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might. For there is no work or thought or knowledge or wisdom in Sheol, to which you are going. And so the writer of Ecclesiastes um, talks to us, I think, mostly about how we simply live our lives day to day. When we think about our lives, we tend to focus on the highs and the joyous moments and on the lows, the most difficult moments. But it's the everyday moments of our lives that are most frequent. We have a lot of words for those moments. We might call them normal or mundane. We might even call the days where things are just, on the level. We might even just call those normal. What we try to do, it seems, in our lives is to manipulate the highs and the lows, right? And to mitigate the lows and to accentuate the highs. And usually our day to day life, because we're so focused on those things, our day to day life seems to be either forgotten or ignored or simply taken for granted. And so a lot of times we spend our lives in apathy and we spend most of our normal moments thinking about or dreaming about the dramatic ones. But the writer of Ecclesiastes really talks to us in this text about our most prevalent moments in life, the moments that we call boring or normal. But our everyday moments are anything but bland. We live this brief time on earth, right? It goes by fast. It seems fleeting to us. And it's this life that we live that gives us a unique opportunity to trust God as only humans can trust God. And so God gives us this life that we live. And yeah, there are highs and there are lows, but most of our lives are lived on the plane. And the way that we live our lives in that way, the writer says to us, really constitutes most of how we live. And we don't get those normal mundane moments back. The opportunity today to love well, to be grateful, to work hard, to share our lives with each others are not just abundant in terms of the frequency, but they're abundant in the terms of opportunity of how we're called to live our lives. Who and what we are and how we experience life is, as you know, most significantly determined by the everyday choices that we make. Those normal moments in our life really are the baseline, the tethering pole for us, for our character and how we live our lives. They are the most significant matters that shows what truly matters to us and wherein our trust lies. Yesterday, I was with my father in law at the hospital. He's going to be having surgery next week, and so we had to do some pre op stuff and we had to get blood work. And so we went to this small place to get blood work, and he went in and I sat down. There was only one chair, and this young lady walked in, probably in her 20s, I'm guessing, and offered her my chair. And she said, "No, that's okay. I've been standing, and I just need to stand." And then she just shared with me her life story. It didn't take long. It was full of drama, and with her work and her husband and her kids, and she had just found out that she was pregnant, and I couldn't tell if she was excited or not about being pregnant. She already has 3 kids. And so I just listened and I listened and I listened to her story. And finally, my father in law came out and it was time to go. So I stood up from the chair. And as I walked by her, I patted her on the shoulder and I said, "Good luck." I said, "I'm sure everything is going to work out perfectly for you." And we caught eyes and she smiled at me and she said, "Thank you for your kindness." And I walked out of there and I thought, I don't I don't know how kind I was. I simply listened to her life story. But I got to thinking about that in light of this scripture. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might. For there's no work or thought or knowledge or wisdom in Sheol to which you are going. Whatever your hands or whatever your mind or whatever your heart or your ears, in my case, listening, whatever we have, we should do with our might. And I think that's a testament to us about how we're called to live our daily lives. That the mundane, what we call boring, what we say, "How was your day?" No excitement. What do we do? How do we live our lives in such a way that we made a difference in the life of someone else? You see, to me, the writer says to us, these are the most significant ways that our character is recognized, and then wherein our trust lies in God. So we live lives full of ups and downs, I know, but we also live lives full of the everyday. And I just wonder sometimes if we realize that we can't get those moments back, that the opportunity today, in the normal of the day, to love well, to be grateful, to work hard, to share our lives with others. These moments in our lives are abundant. And they're not just abundant in terms of how many normal everyday days we have, but they are abundant, be reminded, in terms of opportunity. And I've been doing these, this is day number 299, we've been talking about this, and I've been in ministry soon to end 37 years in a week or so. And all of these things that we do, the normal everyday tasks of life, that aren't highs, that aren't lows, they just what we do. Might we use them as opportunities? Yesterday I didn't ask her for her life story. I was simply nice to her when she walked in, offered her my chair, which is what you're supposed to do, right? And then she shared her story with me. What she must have thought was a safe space, and it was. And then she simply thanked me for my kindness. And I thought, how many times during my day then do I have the opportunity to be kind? How many times in my normal everyday life do you and I have the opportunity to be loving, to be grateful, to live well? And I think the writer of Ecclesiastes just really calls us to this kind of living of our everyday life. And I think that's a good reminder for us as we live, that we should live extraordinary lives in the normal day to day, and that people should notice, not notice to pat us on the back, but notice enough to say thank you for your kindness. And so I think about this text for us today, and what it's calling us to, and enjoy life, all the days of your life that are given to you under the sun, because that is your portion in life, and in your toil at which you toil under the sun. You know, I, I think I needed to hear that today, as we struggle and as we go through just our daily lives, and we love in such a way. So, I'm going to see my brother-in-law today. Bob is dying today. And it's in those moments, that we can just be together for however long it is. Um, that God uses us, and we should be grateful for the lives God has given us, and not take this everyday, normal, mundane moment for granted. So, friends, I hope that's a good word for you as it was for me today as we live our lives together. Um, Enjoy this day. We're getting some much needed rain as I'm looking out the window. Know of God's peace and mercy and grace in your lives. Know of God's love that surrounds us in this normal, everyday day that we share together. Might God move in us, um, to just be grateful, to be loving, and to be kind. God's love shared with all of you, and my love for all of you. I look forward to seeing you Sunday morning at 10:15 as we worship. It's Trinity Sunday, and then I look forward to seeing you here Monday morning at 10 o'clock. Have a great day, my friends.